What's going on, guys? This is the Prime Kentucky Sports Podcast. Here with our first episode. This is Devin Hood. We got Tyler Jones and Gibb. We figured our first episode would be great starting out Louisville Hate Week. What do y'all think, guys?
Oh, yeah. Best week of the year. We always look forward to this. It's a yearly treat for us these days.
Yearly treat. What do you think, Gibb?
Oh, it's always fun to have a nice rivalry come together and make the state of Kentucky even better.
It does. I really think that coming out, Kentucky is either going to either rise or fall to the occasion. What do we think, Tyler?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this all year, same questions, every game. It's a love-hate thing with Kentucky and football yearly, I feel like, at this point with Stoops. And he's still my guy, though. And I got faith this week, and I think Kentucky's going to pull out the big
Still
game.
rocking with Stoops.
Oh, yeah. Stoops is my man.
So what do you think about all the guys that are saying we're gonna lose out on John Summerall because we're hanging on to Stoops?
I think that is a very valid argument with Summerall. He's an obvious superstar, wins wherever he goes, and I think it's just bad timing. I think it's a bad time to make a head coaching change in the landscape of college football today. And I think we're going to miss out on him. He's probably going to go to Carolina or Auburn or something like that and have a ton of success, and we'll be what we are.
I think best case scenario, they were talking though, North Carolina would be ideal for him to go to because it's a mid, kind of mid-tier job. It's not one of the top in the SEC or anything like that. Let's just say, another year or two under Stoops, we're still not happy. I think that's one you can kind of poach him away from as opposed to that Auburn or maybe an Arkansas, something like that.
Oh, yeah. North Carolina would be an easy in, easy out job for anybody, really. Not a lot of expectations there, and not a lot of money floating around in North Carolina for football. Kind of the Kentucky of the ACC, I would say.
Kentucky of the ACC. Well, speaking of the ACC, like we said, rival week, right, coming in Louisville. Yep. Didn't get the Color Rush uniforms, though, did we?
No, unfortunately not. I'm a big advocate of the Color Rush, but not going to happen. Did see we're going to get some black helmets, though.
What was you saying before this? Black helmets, maybe black bottoms, blue top?
Hopefully. We would like to see that for sure.
Have we got any word on what Louisville's wearing yet?
No. Haven't seen what the team up the road is going to walk out onto our field in this week.
Turning this into a fashion show, aren't we?
Yeah,
what everybody's wearing.
Might as well be.
I mean, that might be the highlight that's on the field is the uniforms coming out of this.
Yeah. Best colors in college football, I think. Red and blue going at it.
So, saying you're sticking with Stoops, what do you think about the move to Cutter Boley?
I think it speaks volumes for next year, where Stoops is at, his commitment to Kentucky and wanting to kind of rebuild the culture and show that he's got faith in one guy. And I think it's a smart move, right timing. Brock's gave all he can, and appreciate him. Great hair, great belt buckles, good fashion. Like his cell phone clip, don't like his ball.
No, the ball, we went to the Murray State game, actually, and the first two offensive drives, I mean, they were terribly, terribly underthrown, 10, 15 yards. And it doesn't look like he's got the same arm strength that he had at the beginning of the year.
No. What do you think about that, Gibb? What do you think about Brock's quarterback play this year?
You were at the Murray State game as well.
It's been up and down, definitely. He has great plays, great drives, and then there's sometimes he comes out, first pass, interception, or just something crazy happens, and then it makes you think. Back to Kentucky football. Never consistent.
I mean, we've got Brock Vandegrift, 14 picks this year. Well, he actually has 12. Cutter has 2 of those, but 12 interceptions thrown is not ideal. Not going to cut it in the SEC.
It's hard to win a game.
It's hard to win a game when you're giving the ball back to the other team. One thing, too, it's always like every time he comes out, it's like you're waiting for the interception.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that, the first year with Will Levis. It was guaranteed he was going to throw one a game. You were just kind of waiting on it. As great as Will Levis turned out to be, Brock Vandegrift kind of hasn't stepped into those shoes like everybody thought, being that big, mobile SEC-type quarterback, right?
Yeah, he's it's been a disappointment. I'm sure he's disappointed too in himself. Sometimes it don't really fit. New offensive coordinator. He's never been with him before, hasn't seen that system, and it just sometimes doesn't work out. That's football.
Yeah. What do we think the future is for old Brock Vandegrift?
Not anywhere near Lexington.
Not anywhere near Lexington. I almost wonder, does he transfer back somewhere, not Georgia obviously, but somewhere down close to his hometown, kind of gets into those hometown roots that he obviously has a lot of love for?
For sure. I think he could. You could see him back down where he's from and trying to throw some ball around there in the yard.
What is that team? I think there's a YouTuber that does it. It's the North Georgia Pandas.
Yeah.
Is that right? Maybe he goes to North Georgia, balls out, wins a Heisman, something like that.
Yeah. Or you might catch him on a farm next year. You don't know where Brock Vandegrift's going to be.
I mean, you got to wonder, though, being, the backup or third string at Georgia for so long, the guy's got to have crazy football knowledge.
Oh, yeah. I really thought we would see, like, a high rate of good decision-making from him at the very least. And honestly, that's probably been one of his weakest parts of his game is his decision-making. He's very predetermined. Just doesn't place the ball well at all, really. Maybe a handful of throws this year that have looked like the next level that we thought he could be, but it's few and far between.
I agree with that. The decision-making from, whenever you see him roll out into the pocket, the shell-shocked has been a term that's come up, and I think that really, kind of sums it up. He doesn't look comfortable whenever he gets any type of pressure. We know the Kentucky offensive line hasn't been the best this season at blocking, so he's getting a lot of pressure back there. Just looks like Cutter Boley is a lot more confident, getting the ball downfield whenever he's got guys coming at him.
Yeah. I mean, we watched the Texas game last week. Me and Gibb was watching it, and I think he had looked like a pretty easy time getting through most of his reads. I mean, I didn't understand. I didn't see any difference in the line, the way they were blocking. I mean, same as Brock, really. I mean, he was getting not a lot of time to throw, but Cutter was moving in the pocket the way he should and getting the ball out and delivering it on time. It looked good.
Yeah.
Say one of the big things was Cutter was actually able to go out and make progressions and check off receivers and actually go through instead of having that predetermined mindset to where I'm throwing that ball in there either way, I'm making it work. Cutter, you see a little bit more of that higher QBIQ, and you see him making reads and getting rid of the ball whenever necessary.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I think Texas game, that throw to Willie Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a tight window.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
That was one of the best passes that we've seen from a Kentucky quarterback, all season for sure with the exception of maybe the Ole Miss deep ball. But coming in, being able to make that throw as a true freshman, especially a Kentucky product. He didn't go to this big powerhouse school from Florida, Texas.
For sure, yeah. Lexington Catholic to the swamp to Texas. He's had quite or Lexington Christian actually is where he was at, but he's had quite an entrance to college football. But he's really, aside from the Florida game, and getting put in a rough spot, throwing 2 out routes. I mean, I don't know what Stoops was thinking or Bush, whoever calls the plays, but he did really well last week. I'm super excited to see what he does and what he brings to the table as a full week of preparation as QB1. That makes a big difference mentally and confidence.
I'm glad you brought up the Florida game, actually, because, like everybody else, I'm sure you see that first throw from Cutter Boley, pick 6. At that time I was like, are we getting another, potential Kentucky product that's really not going to pan out here at Kentucky? We've seen it too many times.
Yeah.
But I think he's really just come back and made a name for himself in the second half of these games that he's getting into. And like we said, getting a full week of practice coming in, ready to take on Louisville. What do we think Jeff Brom has cooked up for Cutter Boley on the defensive side of the ball?
Plenty of pressure. He's gonna bring it. I mean, that's Brom's MO on defense. They got good athletes on the back end of that defense too. The defensive backs they're long, they're fast. They've got one Quincy Riley, I believe is his name. He's a really good defender, 1-on-1 out there. I imagine he's gonna lock up with Dane and see who's got the hottest of heads out there. They both like to talk a lot, and it's gonna be an interesting matchup. But Cutter's gonna feel the pressure for sure this week. They're gonna send the house.
Yeah, I don't know the ranking for sure right off the top of my head, but Louisville has one of the best pass rushes in college football. Is that right?
Yeah, they get back there at a high rate. Kentucky's gave up 33 sacks this year, so
Wow.
Yeah, that's the biggest. I look at my little sheet here, and Kentucky's gave up 33. Louisville's only gave up 15, and Louisville really doesn't even have that good of an offensive line. So that's the difference between, I think, decent and really, really bad.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing about playing in the SEC too. It's something Mark Stoops really stressed his first few years at Kentucky was getting those guys that can play in the trenches.
Yeah.
Getting the guys that can move bodies, create lanes, keep the quarterback protected. That's not something we've seen the last few years. Do we think we make a change at offensive line coach this year?
No. I think that's Stoops' boy, and Stoops, he's stubborn. He's kind of earned the right to be a little stubborn as long as he's been here and the success he has had. But I think Wofford's his boy. They're both Youngstown guys, and he's gonna ride with him until the wheels absolutely fall off. I think Stoops' main focus, other than NIL and the portal this offseason, is going to be continuity. Just wanting the same quarterback back with Cutter, the same offensive coordinator, because we haven't seen that in quite some time.
Yeah, it's been, 4 or 5 different offensive coordinators in the last few years. You've had multiple changes at offensive line coach, after the passing of John Slarman. Come in, get Eric Wolford. He hightails to Alabama in the middle of the night, taking a recruit with him. You get Zach Yeager, comes in. That experiment didn't really work out the way everybody hoped. We get Eric Wolford back. And, like you said, it's his boy. It's obviously his boy because he hired him back. He brought him in. But you got to wonder kind of what that relationship was like coming back into the season after the Alabama move that he made.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. He's Stoops is loyal to almost a fault sometimes with some guys. It worked out with Eddie Grant at the end, for him. Eddie's a huge part of the program now, but he made the move when it was time with Eddie, and sometimes you feel like he makes the right calls when it's time, and then in other times it's just he struggles with making the correct staff moves, I believe.
Yeah. You almost wonder this season with the kind of problems they've had if an Eddie Grant offense that he was running whenever we were, kind of moaning and complaining about him, if that wouldn't really bode well for this Kentucky team this year.
Yeah, sometimes I wonder if we sacrificed our entire program to just see a couple more balls in the air,
Yeah.
I would gladly take some 8-4 Eddie Grant, run the ball down your throat this year.
And that was the big thing. The Auburn game, the Florida game, even the last couple drives at Texas, they were doing to us what we did to SEC teams for such a long time. They were making gaps. We were getting 6-7 yard runs at a time, moving the chains, and that's just not something we've seen out of Kentucky in a long time. And it kind of hurts your feelings a little bit to see other SEC teams do it to us at that rate.
Yeah, no doubt. And Louisville, they're going to bring in a running game that it's right now is a 3-headed monster. They got 3 guys in the backfield that can run that thing, and they're gonna come in aiming to do that and show that that's what they're made to do on us.
You kind of almost wonder how many chunk plays are they going to get because we've seen it this season. Kentucky's not going to be able to stop the big chunk play on the run. It's going to happen. So are we able to limit Louisville's running back from breaking off those 10, 15-yard runs?
Probably not. Our tackling has not been the best. It's not been terrible. I'm hoping that with us getting basically fully back healthy on defense, that cleans up a little bit. But Louisville thrives on the big play and missed tackles, and they somehow force those at a very high rate.
They do. We're talking a lot about how good Louisville is. Let's not forget, we've won how many straight over Louisville?
They try to say that it's 4 straight now because C. Rod decided to have a job that he may or may not want clocked in or not. But they say 2013 counts, so 2021 definitely counts.
Yeah,
but,
absolutely.
It's been quite some time.
I mean, was it five straight, 6-1 in the last 7?
Yeah, yep, absolutely.
And I mean, the year that they beat us, it was a pissed off Lamar Jackson, ready to go to the league.
Yeah.
There wasn't a lot you could do there, but going back to the year before that with the game winner, Austin McGinnis field goal.
Yep.
After that Louisville game the next year, it's been pretty dominating wins from Kentucky. Running the ball, passing the ball. It doesn't matter who their coach is.
Yeah.
We come in, whether we're the underdog or we're going to be the favorite. We come in, make the win.
Yeah, I mean it's been domination. I mean, regardless of the score of the last few years, I mean we make it happen. Stoops gets those guys ready to go. I don't know what he does, what he says. I wish he would say that maybe every game, whatever it is. But we're always ready to go against Louisville, and it's definitely my favorite weekend of the year out of all the sports weekends. They're all great, but this one means a lot to my household.
Yeah, and it's funny, whenever Stoops was brought in, the fan base, we've gotten a little selfish because it was, hey, if we can just make a bowl game and beat Louisville, we'll be happy. If we would have made a bowl game this year but still lost a couple, if we'd have lost that game to South Carolina the same way we did, we probably wouldn't have been happy because we've, gotten used to making those bowl games, winning, 8 games a year, looking like a good SEC team. But, just if we get back on track next year, getting back to the bowl game, and then taking care of business this Saturday against Louisville, I think that will really help the direction of the program for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Have you got anything to add about the Louisville rivalry or the game this weekend?
Well, Kentucky and Louisville, it doesn't matter. You can have a one-win team and an undefeated team. Kentucky Louisville is still going to come together, and we're going to have an all-out rivalry for the Governor's Cup. We're gonna make big plays. We're gonna let big plays happen against us. It's hard to prevent that because everybody shows up because they know how much it means to the state of Kentucky. So it's always a good. What am I looking for? It's always a good game, regardless of rankings and strength of each side.
It really is, because, I mean, like Gibbs saying, regardless of ranking, go back to that 2016 Lamar Jackson game. They were, number 9 in the country?
I believe we were 28-point underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't give Kentucky a chance in hell to win that game. And
no.
Stephen Johnson made some, fantastic throws. He looked like a Heisman candidate back there against Lamar Jackson.
That guy just won football games. Wherever he's at now in life, I'm sure he's winning at something right now. He might be injured, might have a shoulder sprain or a torn ACL, but he's going to win.
Yeah, he was great.
Awesome quarterback. Not my favorite. Let's shout out Andre Woodson, but he was definitely up there on the list for me.
And for anybody listening to this, we do apologize if we're making any pauses. We got the Memphis-Auburn game on right now.
Yeah.
Watching Auburn dog walk Memphis at the moment. A little college basketball action. West Virginia taking down Gonzaga earlier in the day. Kentucky coming off that win yesterday against Western Kentucky.
Yeah.
Not a lot of great performances by ranked teams during Feast Week.
Outside of Kentucky playing pretty well through a poor shooting night, I think this week's been a little weird in basketball. It's not March yet, but it's already getting weird.
Yeah.
I like it.
Did you all watch any of the Gonzaga-West Virginia game?
I watched a little bit of it, just getting home from work, but I watched some of it there. I really thought Gonzaga was going to pull away at one point, and West Virginia got right back in it. And I kind of dozed off a little bit towards the end of it, but that's what happens when you watch Mark Few coach basketball sometimes,
Yeah. They, there was one point they were shooting free throws, getting ready to go up 4 or 5, whatever it was, and I'm like you, I thought Gonzaga was getting ready to put it away, but the coach's son for West Virginia, he's a dog. He came out and he made play after play. He looked great. Like you said, that game really had a March feel to it.
Yeah.
It was, West Virginia taking Gonzaga down to the wire. They go to overtime. West Virginia ends up getting the win over number 3. like you said, not a good week for ranked teams in college basketball. Obviously, UConn losing 2 straight in the Maui Invitational. Didn't even know Colorado had a basketball team, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. I was looking for Dion on the sideline.
Yeah,
Where's
Dion,
he
Travis
at,
Hunter, playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I didn't see him over there, but I was shocked to see that they did have a looked like a pretty well put together basketball program. They look decent.
They did. And it's funny, too. I seen something on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, that they didn't get a call on an over-the-back that cost them the game the night before when Dan Hurley lost his mind. So you got to wonder, these refs, they're not changing out in Maui. It's going to be the same, same couple crews officiating those. Do they kind of have that in the back of their mind whenever that play happened?
Oh, yeah, I think so, definitely. There was so much surrounding that, and I think we're all humans. Maybe not Dan Hurley after some of these videos I've seen this weekend. He might not be human, but yeah, I think it's definitely in their minds a little bit.
Getting off track of football a little bit, Mark Pope has been exactly what Kentucky needed. I know everybody really wanted Dan Hurley. After seeing some of his actions the last couple of days, you just got to wonder that probably wouldn't work here at Kentucky.
No, I think Matt was talking about it today on KSR. Him and Mitch would just not have worked out at all. Two totally opposite, different people. I don't think it would have worked out at all. He's a great basketball coach, but I seen a video yesterday, kind of how he talks to his players, and it honestly blew my mind. I don't know who would even want to go play for that guy. He's doing something right, two natties in a row, but I just don't see it. I don't like the guy. I'm glad we got Pope. He's amazing. I will worship him.
Bow at his feet.
Bow at the feet of Pope. We're gonna lose, at some point. It's gonna sting a little bit, but the way we're riding right now is definitely super, super fun. Definitely engaged back into basketball. Me and Gibb watch them all in the garage. We got a ritual, even though he broke it last night. I think that's partially why we played a little bad. He wasn't there.
What's
Gibb,
that?
if you'd like to answer for Gibbs or Kentucky's poor shooting problems last night, I'll give you a chance.
I would say, I had to take a trip up to Lexington, but didn't get to catch the game. But the last 8 minutes I showed up, we didn't look great, but we didn't also look terrible. So, even bad shooting days and stuff, we somehow still pull out the win. It's a great feeling with basketball right now. And, having Mark Pope, every game already this season has felt like March. And it's great to be, back in basketball season. And, having the doubleheader with basketball and football right now, awesome.
Yeah, this is the best time of the year. Whenever you've got, college basketball, college football, NFL, NBA all going on at the same time. A little bit of hockey if you're down with that. This is the best time of the year without a doubt.
Yeah, no doubt.
So hopping back into, obviously game on Saturday, Louisville Cardinals coming to Kroger Field. What are we expecting out of the offense with Cutter Bully at the helm?
Well, I think with Cutter coming in, I think Wilcox, who is somebody we need to get the ball. I mean, he has got to get the ball in his hands. He's going to need, I think, 20-plus carries. Going to have to, I think, average over 4 yards a carry with him. It's very important to get him the ball. He's a great player, and I hear, and just in the tone of Matt's voice the other day on KSR when he was saying that Ryan mentioned a couple guys, and Wilcox was one of them that might transfer or something. I think that was who Matt was talking about personally. No scoop, no scuttlebutt, nothing like that. But we really need to show that we care about that guy and want him here and give him the daggone ball. I'd like to see some middle screens for Barry On and Anthony Brown-Steven. I'd like to see those middle screens worked in. They're easy completions for Cutter. Putting Dane over the middle some too. Louisville gives up a lot of open field in the middle, especially when they bring pressure, and they're going to be doing that. Other than that, I think the offense is. I think if we give Wilcox 20-plus carries and just really make it easy and simple for Cutter, I think we're going to be fine on offense.
What are we going to do if he comes out and throws 250 yards, 3-4 touchdowns. He may be like the second coming to Jesus to Kentucky Wildcat fans.
I will. I'll donate what little bit of money I have to the Cutter Bully NIL Foundation.
$5 coming your way, Cutter.
$5.
I would say one of the big things that's going to help Cutter out and kind of shock Louisville is the fact that they haven't seen him with a full game time prep and being able to come in fresh and be QB1. Like, nobody's seen that yet, so it's going to be the saving grace for him, I think, on offenses. Nobody really knows exactly how he's going to handle that pressure.
Yeah, I think, the big thing, too, and I hope it happens, because no matter what happens on Saturday, you assume Dane Key is either, most likely going to the NBA draft, projected, potentially as a 4th-round draft pick. Barryon Brown kind of in the same boat, maybe looking at draft, maybe looking at transfer. I hope those guys are able to come out, have a big game, just to kind of cap off what has been, an up and down UK career, but our first, 2 options at wide receiver that have really, been there for us for the last 3 years. It's going to be nice to see them come in, hopefully make some plays.
Yeah, they've got to get the ball in their hands and just let playmakers play, man. That's all it is.
Yeah, what was it? The Louisville wide receiver that we were recruiting a few years ago, he said, I didn't want to go to Kentucky and block.
Yeah, it wasn't Watkins, was it?
Jordan Watkins?
Yeah, Ole Miss.
Transferred Ole Miss, but he, didn't want to come to Kentucky and block. A couple years later, we get Dane Key and Barryon Brown, really kind of the first, what you'd call, I guess, blue chip recruits at wide receiver for Kentucky under Mark Stoops, I would say. He gets Wandale Robinson out of the transfer portal, finally makes his way to Kentucky, but Dane Key and Barryon Brown were really big and instrumental in getting that wide receiver room to be something that was respected.
Oh yeah, and it's gotta continue. It will, I think, with Harley Gilmore and Anthony Brown-Stevens, if we can retain him. I think those are 2 key pieces to retain in the off season, and I think cheap pieces too. They haven't proven an insane amount of things on the field to where they can demand an X amount of money in NIL, so that leaves you a lot of money to hopefully build the big blue wall and build it with some foundation behind it too this time. Spend the money that we need to spend on both sides of the ball up front. Because we're losing a lot on the defensive side of the ball too. So
that'll be the big thing too. Brad White's name has been linked to a couple jobs. Yeah. Is not saying he's not up for the task, but is that something he wants to do? Is come back in and rebuild an entire Kentucky defense essentially from scratch with all the pieces he's losing?
I think he'll come back. I think I'm pretty sure his kid's got some number of years left of school here, maybe. I think that's been pretty important to him. Of course, Stoops, somehow Stoops just has the most loyal coaching staffs outside of Liam Cohen. I can't imagine what his relationship's like at home,
Right.
Stoops guys are loyal to him, man. They've been offered jobs, and they stick it out. There's something about the grind at Kentucky that has really held us together as much as we are together right now. Could be worse Saturday, or could be a lot better.
Right. Well, and you kind of got to assume that Brad White is bought in. He was offered the LSU job 2 seasons ago,
something like that, yeah.
And turned it down. Came back to Kentucky. That would really gut the program, though. Talking about continuity, keeping the same guys. If you're retain Bush Hamden, keep the offensive line coach. Obviously keep Mark Stoops, Vince Marrow, and then something more appealing does come in for Brad White at a position that you've felt really comfortable about defensively the last few years. That would be not ideal, losing him.
No, not at all. It would definitely be a big hole put into our program that would need to be filled fast in the college football world today. I was looking at these stats here, and Louisville's 4 losses. They've lost all 4 games by 24 points combined, which is kind of crazy, given that they have a number 11 strength of schedule. It's actually pretty impressive. I'm not sure I've seen a best worst football team in my life. Just looking at their stats, and I mean they averaged a ton of yards a game. I mean they've scored plenty of points this year, and they've just came up short in some games that they could have won, but also won some that they could have lost too. But they're definitely going to be bringing the fight this week, and I think this game this year means more than probably the game's ever meant on both sides since Stoops has been here. Definitely, because we just used to hope to beat them, and now we've rang off, quite a few in a row. But now that I think the programs are very even, probably more so than they have been in the last probably 3 or 4 years. Satterfield really brought those guys down. But fun note, Jeff Brom and Scott Satterfield have the same record. I think Jeff Brom actually has one more win in the last 13 games, so that's a little fun nugget for any Cardinal fans that might hear this.
I would love to see Scott Satterfield back on the sidelines for the University of Louisville.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why they didn't just throw the Brinks truck at him.
Should have
backed it up to his front door and said, Coach, what do you want? We want to keep you here forever. Obviously, Louisville fans don't feel the same. The athletic department at the University of Louisville probably doesn't agree with that, but I loved it. The entire time he was on the sidelines, complaining, crying about the L's down. Really just some of the best memories I have of Scott Satterfield.
Oh, man. Beautiful, beautiful memories of Scott Satterfield. He started a beautiful streak for us there, I guess. I guess Petrino technically started it, didn't he, That team was, I think the team that lost to Kentucky 56-10, I believe.
Yeah, that was
an absolute just beat down. Gib, you know who Tom Brady played quarterback for the last time Louisville beat Kentucky?
I can't think of it right off the top of my head.
I gotta get a guess from you. You gotta throw it out there.
Only 2 teams picked from
the Buccaneers.
No, the Patriots. That's
the
how
Patriots.
long it's been.
That's been a minute.
It's been a long time. I mean, we still loved Cal.
Yeah,
we loved the guy then. I mean, it's been a while. It's going to end eventually, and it's got a good chance to this weekend. But I think Kentucky's got a shot. It really just depends on where that locker room is, and it's so hard to tell. Stoops is very good at keeping things close to the chest.
He is. One thing about Stoops, though, at the beginning of the season, this has been talked about a ton, different media members. He didn't sound the same as he did the last few years. He didn't seem like he had the same energy whenever he was talking to the press. And after the last couple games, it kind of seems like that's back. He's not complaining as much. He sounds like he's a little more bought in to what he has on the field, right?
Yeah, no doubt. It's been such a roller coaster with him this year. Very weird. I think he's which to the guy's credit. I mean, his mom did die, and from what I've seen, they had a very strong relationship. So understandable to have some ups and downs. But they did start before that happened. She could have been ill long before that, and they kind of knew it was coming, and he had a lot going on. Life happens all the time. So
exactly. Yeah.
I remember 2-10, and I'm not gonna fire the guy over 4-8 if that's what happens. And we're gonna party if it's 5-7.
I really believe it will be 5-7. We fun fact, have not lost to Louisville since I've lived in the state of Kentucky again. So I don't think I can, knowingly pick Louisville when since I've moved back they haven't had a chance against Kentucky essentially.
Yeah, no doubt. This would be win number 20 in the series too. We're up 19-15. I know when we say that they like the modern series. The modern series is, but it's the best time of the year. I always enjoy getting to hear some of my friends say, "Wait till next year." And
wait till next year.
It's a yearly thing for us right now.
And that's the thing. We have, a couple Louisville fans that we watch games with, and, we'll have dual TV side by side. Kentucky's on one, Louisville's on the other. And they love to dog us, especially this year. They've taken a lot of joy in seeing the losses on Saturday. But I think we're going to have a lot of joy on Saturday.
Yeah.
Whenever Mark Stoops comes out and shows Jeff Brom, hey, the ACC can't compete with the SEC.
Yep.
No matter how down we are, we're still going to come in. We're going to punch you in the mouth, and we're going to make a statement.
Yep. Gib, you got any keys to the game? What do you think? If you had to have 3 keys to the game for Kentucky to pull out a W, what are you thinking?
Well, first thing I think Rupp needs to show up. Or, not Rupp. Kroger needs to show up.
Kroger Field.
Everybody needs to be there.
Just bring Rupp Arena to Kroger Field.
Yes.
All those extra bodies.
How many more seats would that add?
I'm not sure.
That's got to be having us pushing 90,000.
Yeah, we'd be close to Tennessee without all the dip spit and all that good stuff.
Mustard bottles
on there.
I want to say, but we need, that atmosphere that we experienced at the Georgia game. We need every second of that game that needs to be electric. So Louisville can't make, decisions and can't make calls on the field. They have to, waste timeouts.
Yeah.
And run wrong routes and stuff with their receivers, and just
really disrupt the game.
Yeah, we need the 12th man to show up. We have the 11 guys on the field, but if nobody's in the stands, nobody cares. Then how are they going to play well?
Yeah.
This will be the first game of the year with I would say a legitimate football weather.
Yeah, it's going to be cold.
It's going to be cold. Hopefully the fans get out, brave the elements.
Yeah, no doubt. They bundle up, go out there and show them. I think I've got, I was thinking the other night, and I wrote down, 5 keys that I thought we needed to see just to get a win. I'll just go ahead and roll those out on the table here. But we got, I think, obviously we have to establish a run game. I mean, I think everybody knows that. I think we need to average over 4 yards a carry.
We need to keep Jamarion Wilcox's shoes on.
Yeah.
Which he has not struggled with since they started taping those.
I've seen the tape. It's thick. It's there. Hopefully the tape and him and his cleats are here in a Kentucky uniform next season. Which I said earlier. Like I said, I do worry that Matt the other day when he said, we're talking about some potential transfers and guys coming back next year. I worry that was who he was talking about. That is going to take some convincing.
Yeah.
So we got to show him love this game. Our defense has to tackle, have to wrap up. We're healthy, no excuses there. My third one, discipline. Please no more fouls or flags for punching somebody in the back of the end zone. I know you got hit very on, but just walk away. It's always going to be the second guy. We've been told this since grade school football. You're the second guy, you're caught.
He's too old to be making those mistakes still.
No
If it's his freshman Barryon Brown, maybe you look past it. But been in the season, in the what am I looking for?
He's
been in the game for 3 years now.
Way too long.
He's been there. He knows it's going to happen. He likes talking a little trash. I'm down with that.
Yeah, that's fine. All the time. I've got an 11-year-old, and he talks more trash than I ever thought about talking. And but he keeps it at we'll call it PG.
PG.
Number 4, Cutter doesn't have to be great. I don't think he really just needs to be efficient. I don't think we ask him to go out there and throw the ball. I don't even think he throws it 25 times. But I would like to see him throw it, somewhere in that 19 to 22 range. And if it's working, we'll see where it goes. But I think he just needs to be efficient. Right reads on RPOs that Bush is going to use. Right checks at the line, all that good stuff. Hopefully there's no issues with center to quarterback communication with the change. Hopefully they've got that nailed down. And then just win the line of scrimmage. I mean, we bully ball them every year. They talk about how they always have a good defensive line and this and that. And then we show up, we punch them in the mouth, we run the ball. They can't run the ball. We win the game. Is what we've seen over the last 5 years. But with that, I've got Kentucky.
Well, hold on. Before we get into game day predictions, over under trash cans thrown.
Trash cans thrown.
Do we see any trash cans thrown? I guess that would be the better question. We that year of the trash can, we had some high intensity guys on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I think there was a water bottle thrown that year, maybe two, at a Kentucky fan from a Louisville player. I could see a trash can being thrown. Jeff Brom really likes he's a headphone grabber. He really likes grabbing those headphones and just squeezing them. I'd say there's going to be some headphones grabbed and some trash cans maybe tossed around a little bit.
I would like to see a trash can thrown.
I wouldn't mind that.
Now, since we've done this, we're going to start wrapping up the first episode of the Prime Kentucky Sports Podcast. We appreciate you all listening. Hope we gave some decent insight. Sound like we halfway, know what we're talking about.
We don't.
We don't. But, hey, everybody else does it. Why not us, right?
For sure.
That's hey, like Stoops says, why not us?
We're away from our significant others, and this is just what we do. We're working. We're working, babe. Don't worry.
Working. So, with that being said, game day predictions coming from the official Prime Kentucky Sports team. Tyler, what are we thinking?
I'm going Wilcox MVP. Like I said, Kentucky's got to show that guy love if they want him back in a UK uniform in Lexington next year. I think he definitely gets well over 100 yards rushing. I think we feed him. Probably a back and forth game the whole time, kind of like last year. Kentucky probably can't play from behind in this one. But I'm going to take Kentucky 31, Louisville 21, or I wrote it down Levisville, but
Levisville,
yeah.
31-21, Cats
That's
victory, Jamarion Wilcox MVP.
we carry Stoops off the field one more time for the 2024, and hopefully he's ready to lead us into this new era of what we are going to see as college football.
Gib, what are we thinking?
Oh, it's hard to go back and forth on it. I think I'm going to pull out. I'm not going to give a final score. I'm going to say we get a
What kind of prediction's that?
I'm going to play the spread on this one.
Oh,
I'm going to
Play the
say
spread.
See this guy.
we got a 3-point win. We're going to clutch up with a last-minute field goal and pull out the dub.
3-point win, last-minute field goal. Does that mean MVP goes to Alex Rayner?
Alex Rayner,
I think we're going to have to say yes on that one. Yeah.
MVP Alex Rayner.
He has been great this year.
He has been fantastic.
Appreciate that this year.
Yeah, I mean, Austin McGinnis,
Yeah.
great kicker. I would say, if you could have him in uniform every season, you're going to feel all right. We had a couple down years at the kicker position.
Yeah, really as a whole in special teams.
And Alex has really come through and made a lot of good kicks, done well in his extra point attempts. Can't complain there. It's really an asset of the game.
Oh yeah, you gotta have it.
I mean, he's kept us in a lot of the games we've won or the close losses we've had. He's been the reason that we've had closer games.
Was there one game he was our only scorer, right?
Yeah, Georgia.
Yeah. So I mean,
Georgia. Except for that interception, no, not holding any grudge towards that one particular referee, but I thought that was an interception.
but
Maybe returned for a touchdown. Maybe should have been a Kentucky win, but that would make this season maybe just a little bit more strange than it has been.
yeah, could you imagine if we'd have beat Georgia? I mean,
Georgia and Ole Miss, and
I think we'd be sick, honestly.
I wouldn't know what to think.
Since we talked about it, that was an interception.
That was
With how crazy college football's been this year, that was an interception.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
pick. It was definitely a pick. Was there in person with Gibby, and we best environment I've ever seen in Kroger Field. It was awesome. But now we're here.
yeah, now we're here, staring down the barrel of 4-8.
Yeah.
I think we've already talked about the keys to the game. I'm going to go Kentucky 28, Louisville 24.
Yeah.
I think the 28 points. If whoever gets to 28 is going to win it. I do think Kentucky is able to hit that 28 mark. I think we hold Louisville to 24 points. I'm going to say MVP is Cutter Boley.
Yeah.
I think he comes out. I think Jamarion Wilcox gets a touchdown. I think we do feed him quite a bit. But I think Cutter Boley really comes out and presses, makes a lot of good throws, and wins us the game ultimately.
Yeah, no doubt. I'm with it. I like our chances. I'm excited. Eat some good food, watch some good football, hopefully, and we'll be hopefully celebrating another win from our basketball team too Friday night.
Right? Yeah, Friday night, Kentucky takes on Georgia State.
Yeah. Good time to be a Cats basketball fan, and hopefully we can head into the off season with football some positive vibes. I mean, this is our bowl game.
This is our bowl game.
This is our bowl game this year, and I'm excited to watch it. Excited to talk some trash and drink some good drinks and eat some good food and have a good time this weekend and enjoy it.
Sounds good. All right, guys, we appreciate you all listening. Hope everybody has a good Thanksgiving.
Suck it, Brom.
Yeah, suck it, Brom. You know, Cats are going to win. I've already talked myself into it. I don't think there was ever a time where I wasn't talked out of it, though.
Nah.
You know, we could, like Gibb said earlier, we could have one win on the season. Let's just say we beat Southern Miss in the opener and don't win again. We're still beating Louisville.
We're beating Louisville.
I was like, we're still showing up. We're still pulling out that dog, and we're gonna win.
Yes, sir. All right, this will wrap it up for the first episode of the Prime Kentucky Sports Podcast. Be on the lookout. Hopefully, drop new episodes weekly. That's the plan.
Yes, sir.
We'll see how Saturday goes. We may abandon this ship altogether.
We might
but
burn it down.
You never know. Thanks, guys.